Okay, hello everybody. Welcome in. Give me just a second to get the music going. And then it looks like my model is probably hooked into the wrong microphone. Test, test, test. There we go. Beautiful. Alright. Hello, welcome in. How is everybody? Alright. Looks like the models are not lagging. Neither my model or the stream avatars, so that's good, because I know that they were buffering a good bit last stream. Okay. Now let's see here. Hopefully this will be working without me needing to adjust it. There we go. Beautiful. That's how I would love for it to do on the regular. Alright. Now where did I put... I must have looked over it. Hold on, where is it? No, it's down here. It's in a weird spot now. Doing good. Baked some cookies earlier, you. I've been working on a, cape for a cosplay. I've been making, hold on. Which, I'm not, like, a sewing person, generally speaking. I wonder if I can find... No... I can draw it out real quick. What I'm making, basically. So that's the back, and then that's the front, and then I'm still struggling to try and figure out how to make the hood look anything like a hood. Because the tutorial that I'm using does not have, very clear. It's not like an actual, what's the word I'm looking for? When they give you the instructions in the form of like the little sheets that you cut out that tell you exactly what you need to cut for your panels. It doesn't have that. Oh, same actually, though I'm making a capelet, one of those mini capes. Yes, amazing. What kind of cookies were you making? Oh, shortbread, you said. Sometimes I can't read. No, that sounds good. Asked a question, looked up, it was immediately already answered. But yeah, I'm making the cape with like white fabric, and then I have like hot pink dye that I'm gonna be using. So, as far as art today is concerned, I did have this drawing still for my character reference sheet on Artfight. But if anybody has requests as far as like Homestuck is concerned, that's more what I think I'm in the mood for today. So if anybody has like something in particular that they want to see, that would be the day. Sylph of Heart? Yes, that would be my class spec. To be clear, I haven't... None of the quizzes that I've taken ever have class spected me as a Sylph or as a Heart player. And furthermore, I've never talked to somebody who does class specting. I have one friend that I think would be really good at it, but she hasn't finished the comic yet. But I know in my heart, but you know what I mean? I love the color scheme of Heart. Very true. Yeah, hold on. I think I have already... Where did it go? Down here? Yeah, I do have a colored version of the outfit down here. I'm trying to remember. The official, like, sign quiz that the extended Zodiac one, class-spected me as a light player, but it also class-spected both of my siblings as light players, and we sort of came to the conclusion that it was because of, like, the way that we were neurodivergent when it came to answering questions about, like, how much do you value truth? Or, like, how much would you do to, like, learn the truth? And we were, like, answering in a very autistic way. And not actually all light players. Because I think it'd be a little ridiculous for all three of us to be light players. And then I took that one that's been kind of popular recently, the Skyen survey, but I was kind of rushing through it a little bit, and I got time as my aspect, and I think I was a bard of time, which I also kind of feel like time, blood, and heart can all be very interconnected in the way that they are sort of relevant to how you relate to people and, like, connections. I don't know. It seemed like the reason that I got time on that quiz was because I was answering a lot of questions about, like, leaving an impact on future generations or whatever, which it read as a time player. Why is it playing the same song again? What is it doing? Shush shush you. Play Candles and Clockwork. I prithee. Can you give an example for the neurodivergent answers? Hold on, I can try and pull up this quiz. Give me a second. Terezi eating a SpongeBob popsicle and despising it. Okay, that's great. Hold on. Give me a sec. Let me pull up this damn quiz. Alright. Hive Swap Extended Zodiac. I'm trying to remember. I don't think that the Prospit Durst questions affect the other bit at all. Here, I'll just skip through this part. Okay, Lunar Sway is Prospit, blah 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 blah. Okay, Okay, this one. When you're learning about a new subject or reading a fascinating story, do you feel a strong desire to know everything about it or have all your questions answered, or are you more compelled to be or inspired by the feelings of mystery surrounding not knowing everything? So this question almost certainly impacts whether or not you're voted as a light player. But the thing is that it also is exactly the kind of question you would see on a questionnaire to determine if you have ADHD or autism, right? When you hear someone explaining something to someone else in a way that is questionable or in a way that makes you suspect they don't fully understand the subject they are explaining, are you more inclined to teach them everything you know about the subject to set their record straight, or just cast doubt on the misinformation without offering much in the way of correction? Again, this is the kind of question you would see, like, verbatim on an ADHD autism, like, questionnaire, right? Like, I've taken them. I've taken this kind of questionnaire, and that feels like exactly the kind of thing that they would ask. Because, like, oversharing or, like, info dumping as concepts, I immediately thought it was an ADHD question. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, is, like, with a lot of these, this questionnaire feels sort of flawed in that case. And I think maybe questionnaires aren't the best way to do class specting in general, because what your relationship is with your aspect can heavily depend on your class, right? So, for example, princes are kind of gonna be very much opposed to their aspect. This one, if you're working on a project, something you're doing for yourself, not for anyone else, are you obsessively focused on the end results, or are you enjoying the process regardless of how it turns out? Maybe not so much, but it still feels sort of like, I don't know, I feel like there's some sort of leaning there. Like, how intensely focused are you on your creative process? This one is like maybe fine. But which best describes what's more important to you, understanding yourself and fully knowing who you are, or thinking rationally and making strong decisions? I think that one probably would still be like more subjective, whether or not you're neurotypical. Like more based off the individual. If you see someone suffering, are you most inclined to do whatever you can to help them get better, or is it your instinct to relate to their suffering, to empathize without necessarily considering how you can help? What's that thing that can be a sign of neurodivergency where you're more likely to, people will get annoyed at you for doing, like, problem solving when they complain, but I've seen people talking about this. I don't know if I've had this experience necessarily, but I also am not necessarily a shoulder to cry on frequently. Where, as like a result of not being able to read social cues, you can't always tell if you're supposed to just like be empathizing or if you're supposed to be going into problem solving mode when someone comes to you with like a social issue. And that's also the whole questionnaire. It's just 12 questions. Is that correct? That feels insane. Like, actually, now that I'm looking at it, that feels kind of insane for a class specting quiz. I am struggling to imagine a way where that does it, if you know what I mean. I know about that one, not sure if there's a name for it. Yeah, so that's my problem with the official Homestuck aspect designating quiz. Not full class specting, because it doesn't give you a class. Even though it gives you a lunar sway and an aspect. I guess they thought it would be too long if it also included a class, or not. It'd be a bit of a stretch to tie all of that to a troll sign, maybe? I don't know. For that issue, me and my friends ask each other, do you want solutions to vent or distraction? Yeah. I'm trying to... Yeah, I don't think my friends vent to me very often in general. Just took this guy in survey, got Seer of Space. Yeah, that tracks. That's a fun one. But yeah, I think I need to take it again, but a little slower, because I was sort of rushing through it, and I might not hate it so much. But I do maintain that depending on how the back end of that quiz works, like, class specting maybe just isn't designed for personality quizzes. It is a very fun, like, game, though. Sky and Survey, it has, like, a bunch of fun visuals and everything. They play, like, a fancy end card at the end of it. Being acutely aware of the location and nature of everything is kinda a crazy-ass power. Very true. Although I'm wondering, because Jade, as a witch of space, very much struggled with, like, maintaining close relationships with people in that she was, like, forcibly separated from people. You know what I mean? In a Spurb gameplay setting, I'd be a little bit concerned about how a seer of space would be, doing. Not really sure how else to put it. I'd be a little bit worried about them. Is Seer an active or passive class? It's passive, right? Surely. Definitely moving like Dirk, but much more unbothered by their party. Run things from the shadows. Ooh. The idea of someone being like Dirk, but more unbothered is again concerning. Let's see. Active / passive. Where's the new chart? The new official chart for active / passive. That's so much to ask for. Yeah, Seer is slightly leaning towards passive. I wonder if a Seer of Space would also maybe have somewhat the ability to, like, know the history of an item through knowing where it has been. You know what I mean? Something like that. It's like the lowest passive one right before it swaps to being active. Yeah, no, it was like one. There was like one more that was only one passive. Hold on. I was just looking at it. No, I'm not going the... Okay. Later, dude. Sorry, my PC, every time I stream, it tells me that it needs to upgrade. Yeah, the least passive, it's... Maid is 1 on passive. Seer is 2 on passive. So it's close. It's close to the bottom, but it's not quite there. Which, character writing wise, I'm not sure there's a huge difference between being 1 on the passive scale or 2 on the passive scale. To be dead honest. Also, Aradia being 1 into passive, I don't know. I might put her at like a 3. Honestly, I don't know if that's how I'd describe her. She definitely does things. But at the same time, I don't know if... I mean, maybe she's class-spected fine. Talking about official Homestuck characters, creator, like the baselines for class-specting references being like, I don't know if that's how I'd do that. Although that's also how I feel like, have you recently, random, I don't know if you've recently looked at, the trolls, like, planets? Like, Durs versus Prospit? Some of that just feels wrong, and I don't know how else to put it other than, like, it feels weird that some of them are on the planets that they are. Why am I drawing her smiling? I'm supposed to be drawing her having an unpleasant time. What, like a Vriska on Prospit? I do not remember the exact... I can... hold on. Give me a second. I know there was a nice drawing here. Why is it all, like, separated out like this? Why is there not one illustration? There it was. The big one was Nepeta and Pfeffery are both Durst streamers, which feels weird to me. Equius being a Durst streamer feels fine. Aridin being a Durst streamer feels normal. Karkat, Terezi, Gamzee, Tavros, Vriska, Kanaya, and Solix on Prospit, which means Nepeta, Aradia, Solix the other part, Equius, Pfeffery, and Aridin on Durst. Yeah. No, see, a lot of those feel okay to me, but, like, Vriska on Prospit, a little strange. Nepeta on Durst feels, like, almost comical. I don't get it. Gamzee on Prospit rubs me the wrong way. Yeah, that one I feel like really heavily depends on, like, how you interpret him as a character as well, but also it does feel sort of strange. But then again, for all we know, maybe canonically, Durst versus Prospit is actually assigned randomly and means nothing. It could be the case. Technically, you can't prove that it's not just random and seems like there's a pattern to it through random chance. We'll never know. Oh, what was... That's probably fine. Okay. But yeah, I guess it doesn't really get to you at the initially because like it's their dream moons are revealed like as you're getting to know the characters, right? Like especially I think with Karkat you get the flashback revealing that he's a Prospit dreamer right before Openbound, is that right? I think. That I'm not going to stop to fact check because that would be insane. And it's only sort of looking back on the full arcs of all of the characters at the end when you suddenly look at their dream moons and you go, I have questions about some of these. I think Pfeffery and Nepeta are both dissatisfied with the current status of their life prior to the whole session taking place, which opens a really good read into Nepeta and Pfeffery being unhappy in their lives and with their relationships, which I think tracks for both of them. True. Yeah, I guess because Nepeta is sort of Yeah, I can see it. Tavros is unequivocally on the right one to me. I don't think there's any debate about that, but some of them are just a little strange seeming. Okay, so it's red there, and then there, white here, and here, and here. Does she replace H's or A's with... Surely it's H's only and not A's, right? No, it's just A's. I got it wrong. AIE? Yeah, I checked. It is. I had in fact gotten it mixed up. It's because the 4 is shaped like that and not like that. Terepi is such a goober. True, she's very, gremlin-y. I think it's all of the biting and licking and yelling. And it's funny because she'll be profoundly wise and knowledgeable for someone from a war society, and the next second she's yelling at you about chalk. I mean, she is a seer of mind. I don't have anything else to add to that. Just, you know. It is kind of her shtick, I guess. And also, to be fair, she, like all of the other trolls we meet, was pretty much raised by wolves, so... Although, I guess Jade was raised by wolves and she came out comparatively normal. Like, some of my favorite lines of her in the series, it's the crazy dichotomy of her character with it still being really well written and not just like Hussey tried to jam two character archetypes into one body and one eventually one for control. No, both sides of her come into play often in the series. Now I want ice cream. No, now I'm thinking about it. Look what you've done. Actually, I might have... No, it is too late in the night for me to be genuinely considering just going and getting an ice cream. Just because I have it in the fridge doesn't mean I should be eating it now or after stream, because after stream it'll be way too late to be eating ice cream. John Egbert ice cream popsicles will soon be a thing, I promise you. I don't know if we're gonna get to quite that level of brand recognition with Homestuck, if I'm being dead honest. Like, I think we'd be lucky if Homestuck merch started showing up in Hot Topics, let alone Walmart refrigerators. Once Homestuck gets animated and it experiences a second cultural renaissance, it will happen. Why am I being pulled into a padded white room? They're gonna make a John Egbert popsicle. Okay, Grandma, let's get you back to bed. That's gonna be us in like 40 to 50 years? No. Surely I won't still be a Homestuck in my 60s. Surely not. Surely we'll all have moved on to bigger and better things. Back in my day, we shipped Dave Cat. None of this newfangled Jade Cat. Isn't Jade Cat... Wouldn't it be older than... I guess I don't know what the fandom was doing, but I feel like I've heard a lot of people talking about Dave Cat being a bit of a crack ship for a good portion of time in the fandom. And then being genuinely gobsmacked when it became canon. Like, right before the end. Whereas Jade Cat was, like, explicit in, like, early acts of the comic, wasn't it? What am I doing? I don't need to be thinking about the math of that. I'm literally drawing Terezi eating a SpongeBob popsicle. It's not that serious. It's symbolic? The SpongeBob popsicle? What does it symbolize? I wasn't drawing it as symbolizing anything. The fleeting joy of childhood? Oh no, oh god, wait, no. Pharaoh's in the chat. Oh no, Pharaoh's gonna out me. Pharaoh, don't tell them that I've never watched SpongeBob. Don't tell them. They can't know. The popsicle is actually from Act 1. This is a callback, JK. I was genuinely going to believe you. If you were like, yeah, no, there's a chat log about it in Act 1, I would have believed you. Or like there's a chat log where they mention it. I genuinely, I would have fallen for that. Totally, because Terezi would be the one to eat it. Definitely no sarcasm here. Nah, you fumbled. It's too late. I'm sorry, Random. There's no recovering now. I do still need to finish the shading on... on this. But that, I might deal with that later. Because it's like almost done. I just need to make it more metallic looking. I hate it. The most cursed thing in my... Or wait, no, hold on. Do I have anything worse? Hold on. I'm assuming that it's the combination of elements here, but if it's just Brobot in general... Hold on, where is it? Not there. I also have this. And this. It's the ears. He's literally a puppy. I don't know what else to say about there's nothing else to say about the matter, quite frankly. Oh, how careful do I need to be with my drafts? No, it's fine. I don't think there's any cow or... I'm trying to remember, because there's a specific character that I don't want... Yeah, we're fine. Okay. I've come to terms with dog tier in my heart of hearts. You did the equivalent of hitting me with a Mike Tyson uppercut. Oh, I also have... Oh, shoot. Where is it? Oh, where did it go? This one was made before, and as such, it makes slightly more sense. Because I hadn't gone off the rails with it yet. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Species swap. Dave Jade. Oh, hello, Kyo. Welcome back in the YouTube chat. But I feel like there's a little bit more logic happening to like switching Dave and Jade as far as like the dog ears is concerned, as opposed to like Brobot is just genuinely like I have lost the plot. Like there's nothing happening. Knight of Wolf and Jade Sprite, exactly. Ooh, actually, this is unrelated, but I want to show it off because it's cute, and I made it, like, today. Where did it go? I made a bunch of, like, designs that I'm gonna, So I had these originally, and I've already turned these into, like, shrinky-dink keychains. And then I made this batch for my new Trickster Mode cosplay that I'm working on, that I'm also going to shrinky-dink. God, I'm so indecisive. Oh, I forgot Pharaoh was here. Oh no. Oh, I've been showing so much of him on screen. I got the outfit wrong because I forgot Seer's outfit is unisex and not male-female, so they're in a witch outfit. Do we have ship wheel today? Ooh! I forgot about... Yes! There we go. That's what we'll do. Okay. Let me pause the music for a second. Ship wheel, hear my call. What ship shall we draw? Don't give me Cal, I can't draw Cal. And... what does that say? Pepsi Fanta! Yes! We win these. I need a soundboard. I needed a yay sound effect to be playing after that. We win, we win, we win, we win, we win. I think I did add spider breath to the wheel. Possibly because... yeah, see, it's right there. It's right under Tavrissi. Okay, let me get back into the program. Pharaoh, I have bad news. Pepsi Fanta may or may not be a Dave Sprite ship, and I'm not going to be able to avoid saying his name for the entirety of the time that I'm drawing this. I think I already have... Okay, I do have that one, but I don't really care for it. Which is Pepsi Fanta. That is, John Dave Sprite. Because normal John Dave is Pepsi Cola because it's blue and red. But Dave Sprite is orange, so Fanta instead. I thought Pepsi Fanta was John Dirk. I don't think so. Do people call it that? If so, then I would be willing to switch out Dave Sprite for Dirk in this case. Purely for Pharaoh's sake. If that's a thing people actually do. Let's see. I think that was just my assumption of it because I thought Dave Sprite would still fall under Pepsi Cola. So it kind of does. I mean, okay, so the thing with Dave Sprite, right, is that he's kind of his own guy. Mostly because of the extra, like, trauma, right? And, like, the emotional disconnect between himself and, like, his friends and his current state of being. Alright, it does look like people mostly use it for... I'm not seeing any Dirk here. But there is, like, a difference, like, you know what I mean? Like, narratively and emotionally. I think Dave Sprite also is going to lean way heavier into angst, generally speaking. But I was looking at this because I posted that Jade Dave Sprite drawing that I made on stream. Or wait, did I make it on stream? No, but I think I showed it. I might have worked on it a little bit on stream. I don't recall. I think I posted it in the Discord. But apparently their ship name, like if you're not just using Jade Dave, is Jave Sprite. Jave Sprite. Which is kind of horrible, in my personal opinion. Oh wait, that's not how I draw his hair. I'm stupid. I drew the normal... I'm not, but I drew the normal Dave hair. Hold on. I forgot that I give him the feathers. Finally without a tomato. Has it just been like adding them as a free bonus or something? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how that... And there it is. Tomato and egg is infinite? I see. I'm going to self-promo the Discord stream. If you're streaming in the Discord, that's not really... Like, in my Discord, that's not really something you need to put in the self-promo chat. That can just go in general, because that's just a Discord stream. I feel like there's a difference between that and, like, promoting your socials, you know what I mean? AU where all of Homestuck is the same. The only change is that John is called Jonathan anytime he is mentioned, even by people who call him nicknames, and it really gets under his skin. No, that's really funny though. What's the fandom's middle name for Dave? The people like David Elizabeth Strider? John is top 5 protagonist for me, legit. If I'm being honest, Jonathan Egbert, I think, broke... Jonathan, Coleslaw Egbert, I don't know, broke my immersion with reading Homestuck more than any other aspect of the plot. Purely because of the way that, towards the end, like in the last act, everyone was constantly referring to him as the leader. Like, people say that he's, like, the leader of their session when he did, like, diddly squat. I don't understand why everyone acts like he's the leader. Like, Rose was doing future vision planning, and Jade was also doing future vision planning and, like, working with the trolls to come up with a plan for how they could meet up and stuff. Meanwhile, John is just farting around, doing nothing. I guess at the end he's kind of leadering, but only because he's doing what Terezi told him to post-game over. Like, who decided that he gets— why does everyone act like he's the leader? Luigi wins by doing nothing. What is this? Like, did Hussey forget to make him be a leader? I don't understand. Luffy moment? I haven't read One Piece. I wouldn't know. I guess I've watched like a little bit. I'd have to ask my sister what she thinks on this. Matt Pet. Oh, I'm well aware of this. No, I know about this. Mentally only guy to make everyone sane. He's the glue. He's the emotional anchor. I don't know. I feel like he's just going around going, well, gee, that he's literally the embodiment of, well, gee, that happened. Like, why is he such a dork, bro? Why am I dunking on a guy whose face is shaped like this for being a dork? Like, obviously he's gonna be a dork. Also, as someone who's seen John's like favorite films of all time, they're all mid, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, they're not bad. They were enjoyable to watch, but no sane person would ever say that those are their favorite movies. Out of all of the media created up to the year 2009. Is he deranged? What's wrong with him? Everyone drowns in drama and John is John. True. Mostly because his egg doesn't crack within the narrative of the original comic. He's in denial. But I don't know, even towards like the end of the comic, it's genuinely infuriating to me reading a lot of John's sections and just being like, wow, he's not processing half of the implications of the things that are happening around him. Like, I'm not sure he ever has a moment where he like processes post game over. I don't think he really thinks about the fact that all of his friends are dead. I think he just doesn't like, I don't think that it's that he doesn't care so much as that he hasn't put enough thought into it to like register that they're fundamentally different. The people who he helps post game over are fundamentally different from like the ones that he was talking to, like from his perspective, like half an hour ago. You know what I mean? Vriska and John talk made me angry so much. Vriska also has that, what's the word? Self-aware wolves energy. Like, she's so close to getting it, but she just doesn't change or improve in the ways that would be fundamental to, like, becoming a better person. I think John doesn't even wear the title of leader, he just gets called it and never corrects it. Is it Carcat? Is it Carcat who first calls him the leader? Just because he contacts him first? Something like that? I don't know what y'all are talking about, but that sounds like the most depressing thing to happen to someone. Oh, game over? Yeah. No, I was flabbergasted reading Game Over, I think. There's a portion of the comic. No, I can't elaborate anymore. No, that's it. It's no good. Game Over was my murder stuck. Because I was like giggling throughout all of Murder Stuck. I was having such a fun time with it. Which is when all the trolls die. And then Game Over is, it's no good. John seeing horrors beyond his comprehension, he doesn't get it. Exactly. It's like, well, gee, Dave, I don't really get all this time travel stuff. It's like, bro, can you maybe try to put a little bit of effort in to understand what your friends are going through? Instead of being the world's most generic white boy for like 2 seconds. Have a thought in your head. The world's most generic white boy is such a hilarious insult. I don't know how else to talk about him, dude. Sometimes it feels like he's a JPEG of a guy, like a stock photo of the nerd emoji. Just sitting there while the horrors happen to all of his friends. John, I've watched myself die hundreds, if not thousands of times over in order to build the perfect chance for us. Wow, Dave, that's really cool, but me and this alien spider lady are gonna go make out, so have fun with that, I guess. Literally, bro. The fact that he was on the meteor with Dave Sprite and just was like, oh yeah, that's not the real Dave, though. When there's a guy right in front of you who shares all of the, like, childhood memories. I feel like fucking... I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just not a big fan of breath players. No, because Tavros is one too, and he also has the wishy-washiness of John, but in a way where it's like I can see the potential in him, and it's sad that he doesn't get the character arc that I could see as like his best case scenario in the comic. But I can still appreciate Tavros as like a character. But John is like, what are you doing, dude? I'm John Egbert. It's my birthday. Your friends have all died millions of times, and there's ghost versions of them everywhere. AU where John but emo. I feel like an AU where John but emo wouldn't actually fix anything. I feel like a John but emo would be like, he's got the aesthetic, but he still doesn't have any, like, he doesn't understand any of the, like, anything behind, like, any of the ideologies or anything that comes with that. I think he's still a dumbass, he's just like a holier than thou dumbass. He's like, it's like John Egbert but more smug. Ads? Fuck. John's an asshole, and it's why I love the epilogues in Homestuck Beyond Canon for reasons I can't get into, but it gives John exactly what he deserves. Yikes. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm back. Okay, that's 2, 3, hold on. And then Kitty has Prime. So that would be like 1 to 2 people who may still be under ads, possibly. But yeah, as far as like John's arc, with keeping in mind to not go too far into like exact detail of specific events, he's just a very frustrating read throughout the whole comic, I feel. And personally, I don't think it's fair that I have to read Dirk first-person POV canon eventing in order to get to whatever arc that they're gonna be doing in Beyond Canon with June. Rose drunk arc made me so angry too. And it's fine though. But it's like fine though. Cause like, don't worry about it, guys. Vriska fixed it. Guys, Vriska fixes everything. Guys, by the way, canonically, if Vriska had been there, it all would have been fixed. Don't worry about it though. Like, it all would have been fine if Vriska had been there though. Guys, don't you know that Vriska is great at everything and she's amazing and perfect and she would have fixed everything though? Now you got me thinking about emo John. I want to see Rose doing John's emo makeup. I feel like in this emo John timeline, because again, I maintain that he's purely in it for the aesthetic and has no more self. Just because he's acting using like the aesthetic of sad boy, he doesn't actually have any more of the like angst or like understanding that one might initially think would come with that throughout the events of the comic. I think that Rose would be very annoyed at him because he doesn't know the difference between goth and emo. Things I think are fixed by the post-canon material, but once again, it's true that getting past the epilogues and even the early part of Beyond Canon, back when it was still Homestuck Squared, is a pain in the ass. I've already gotten past the initial part of Beyond Canon. I just haven't finished the epilogues. Because I'm like horrible. I read like a little bit of Meat because I was reading it alongside my sister. Like she was reading Meat and she was reading Candy, I was reading Meat. And then I just like fell off and didn't finish it. And I read some of Beyond Canon anyway. So and then I had to stop because it didn't make any sense because I haven't finished the epilogue, so obviously it didn't. But I'm trying to... Okay, hold on. I don't think... The thing with the epilogues for me is, I can't remember if the original comic made me cry at any point, but I have cried at least once trying to get through the epilogues, and I've only read, again, like 1/4 of it. So I'm a little concerned. And I haven't gotten to any of the scenes that I think would be heavy hitters for me personally, like based off of what characters I have an emotional attachment to. So like, I'm worried. I'm worried about it. Listen to me, I was reading it on a fucking public bus. And I still, like, it was not good. Wow, I'm scared. It was not good, dude. As I can imagine, you were probably like, wow, this is just sad, while your sister was like, wow, this is just sad and poorly written. No, that was about how it was going, yeah. But no, you should be scared. The epilogues are a place of darkness and terror. I think I've said this already, but they will do something that you fundamentally disagree, because there's 2 different timelines, right? So there's plenty of room to play with. So no matter who you're emotionally attached to, they will do something wrong that you fundamentally disagree with the character arc of one character or another who is still alive that is one of your favorites. by the way, can you explain to me what is meat and candy? So basically the way that the epilogues are formatted, it's, I think it was 83 chapters. The first 3 chapters are an epilogue, so it's like setup. And then at chapter 3, there's a timeline split. Except it's not exactly Doomed timeline, canon timeline. It kind of is. Except that they're kind of both at the same validity of... Basically, there's one timeline where they fall back into a much more canon structure, and one timeline where they don't. And it's 40 chapters in both timelines, where basically from the point that the epilogue split, after the setup, there's canon and non-canon timeline. Yeah, but the non-canon timeline isn't a Doomed timeline, you know what I mean? That's a much better way of putting it, is there's a canon and non-canon timeline. What's supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen, but is allowed to persist because they are outside the realm of what is considered canon. Yeah, there's a whole big, like, Rose rant at the beginning that sort of explains the in-universe function of it. Which one is better? Probably meat. Candy is the one that's intentionally written out of character, but meat, the point of meat and candy, as from like a meta-narrative perspective, is it's supposed to illustrate that Homestuck can't function without both halves of itself. So one half is just the interpersonal melodrama stuff, and that's candy. It's just the fluff, right? And meat is leaning towards being, like, the gritty, dark, section. Like, gritty, dark, like, plot sections. Which the frustrating thing about that is, as a meat reader, you'll be reading it, and then, because you're stuck in John's POV, for at least the parts that I was reading, I don't know if it... But you're stuck in John's POV. And his eyes are just, like, glazing over when other people are doing emotional, like, reunion stuff. So they just skip over those parts of it, which is, like, really annoying. Whereas with Candy, the idea is that it's, like, sickeningly sweet, and it's like, oh, relationship drama, but then things go off the rails and everyone gets more and more out of character. But hey, you get, new kids in the Candy timeline. But since when did John care about anyone else's feelings past what it did for him? True. Yeah, Candy is meant to be like the... They're also meant to be kind of, how do I... So they're meant to be formatted like fanfiction, right? And part of that is that Candy is meant to be the one that feels like the kind of fanfiction that someone would write in that sense where it's like, oh, I want to do setting up the relationships that I like and making my own, like, next generation of kids that blah, blah, blah. And then Meat is like, I want to do a gritty, more, like, close to the source material fic. And focus on, like, what characters are already established. Don't speak bad on my boy TECM or VLM or HAE. I very much like the new set of kids from what I've seen of them. I like HAE's, like, gimmick. It feels very, like, his, like, general interests. It feels very different from what we've gotten with a lot of the previous, like, kids. And, oh man, the rest of the Omega kids. I have... Ooh, wait, I might have this saved. So, as I've said, I haven't gotten to them yet. But from what I've seen so far, I'm very much liking, the, like... the teal... how do I put this? The one that likes yaoi. Listen, here's one thing I do like about post-canon stuff, and I actually am one of the few people who like what is done with Rose in both timelines. Oh, that's interesting. 'Cause okay, I have a theory no, it's less of a theory and more of a if I had any control over what's going to be done with Rose. I think that the next logical step in Candy, based off of what has happened so far, is that if they had any balls, listen to me, this is what they should be doing, okay? No, listen. Hold on, where is it? I think that if the writers of Beyond Canon had any balls, then the next narrative step in Candy Timeline Rose's arc would be that her and Kanaya would start vacillating and start going pitch. Listen to me. I think that the natural conclusion to what's been going on with Rose and the other character and what they've been doing behind Kanaya's back, I think that the next logical step is that Rose and Kanaya should start going pitch. I think that Kanaya should start kiss-me-sing for her wife. Anyway. That's my 2 cents. I'm seeing the vision. I think that Rose should be all like, oh, blah, blah, I've been lying to her. Oh, she's gonna want a divorce. And then Kanaya's like, how could you? And then it's kiss-meses. If for no other reason than because I think that the fandom would lose their marbles at that dynamic being something that's explored within canon. So do the relationship type thingies change like a status update? Quadrant vacillating is kind of a whole thing. Basically, if you have a hot and cold relationship with someone, it can lead to very quickly shifting emotions, which can lead like all of your quadrants to go out of date and everyone else's quadrants to be like, get really confusing really quickly because everyone is like shifting. But is it like an always vacillating thing? Like 1 minute they're having it out like enemies and the next minute they're living in lesbian paradise? I feel like both of them are very much like, well, that was rather immature of us. Let us move on from that. In a way where they could do like very, very much hot and cold like classic vacillating. 1 minute they are absolutely hating each other and having like the biggest fight of their lives. And then the next they're like, well, I feel like I may have overreacted a bit there. You know what I mean? Sorry, I don't know what came over me there. Okay, I'm gonna actually put this in this text, because I feel like it and I can do what I want. Okay, so dark blue. And then the typewriter font is up here. The way I imagine it and the way you're describing it is that they go from sword fighting over an open volcano about scorn love 1 minute to literally just the most gratuitous makeout session ever put to screen. You're seeing the vision. And all I'm saying is, like, the newest update has introduced a lot of Jake Dave fan art, which I don't think is something that I've seen in the fandom previously. At the very least, it was not like a well... Was it Jake Dave? Was it something weirder? It might have been something weirder. No, Car Cat Jake. It was Jake Cat. I don't think I've ever seen a single piece of Jake Car Cat ship art before the newest update. And all I'm saying is, I don't think I've ever seen anyone draw Rose Kanaya going pitch. I don't think I've ever seen someone draw them in a Kiss-Mises relationship before. And I think that we could get something going here. I think it would be a very lucrative business. All I'm saying is if you invest now, our stocks are about to go to the moon. Put all of your money on gambling app, on pitch Rose and Kanaya, and I promise. Who is Jake? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So imagine like John, except he was like cool, but also arguably British, but also like he was like lamer, but also cooler and better, but also worse, but also but also Canadian, but also Australian, but also British, but also just like Old English, but also even more fucking stupid about blue alien spider women, but also more queer, more bi-curious. Also, like, he was like gayer, but also he was like Ace Arrow. And that's basically Jake English. Basically, that is what Jake is. He's like if John were like gayer, but also like Ace Arrow, but also like adventurous, but also like more of a scaredy cat, but also braver, but also better, but also worse. If anyone else, if random Alakazam, if either of you wanna pitch in a little bit here, I think that's about how you describe him, right? Like I think that about covers it. Imagine John, but played by Matt Berry. Yes, let's start naming celebrities. This is something that I can do and keep up with. Give me just a second to not look anything up. I'm not Googling anything right now. This guy? I guess vocals-wise, I could see him doing... Yeah, I could see him reading for Jake, but in a live action, absolutely not. No, I actually do know this celebrity. I just don't know him by name. Like, imagine John, but if you took everything that made him interesting, skinned it from his personality like you were trying to make a coat out of it, and then sent him back to the confines of Paradox Space to fend for himself. No! No, don't do... No. That's so... That... No. I do like Jake, to be clear. You say no, but am I wrong? No comment. Listen to me. Please, you have to listen. Listen, please. I like Jake too, but we have to be objective about this. Please! I'm dying! Ah! He's like if John Egbert canonically had a good ass. We can't let some boy failures be. He's like if there were a scene in the epilogues where John Egbert had a billboard built and everyone would go up and climb up to his ass and because his ass was perfect and every species was obsessed with how good his butt looks on live TV. And that's a real thing that happens in the epilogues. So if you've been wondering about Homestuck, I think that's really all you need to know. Is he Homestuck's Nightwing? He's like if Nightwing wasn't Robin at all, and the only thing that Nightwing had was that he was like athletic and had a good ass, but also he was like sad and pathetic. He's like if John was eye candy and nothing else for the three most morally objectable people in the series at this point in time. Trying to... I mean, okay. No, yeah, no, you have a good point. I was doing the math and I was like, no, I can't even argue. Basically, he's like if John Egbert were this guy. This is literally him, by the way. Do I have other art of him? Oh, that Brobot art was him. That Brobot art was him. This is him. This might be the most mean-spirited thing I've ever drawn, and it's genuinely not that bad. It has like a notable amount of blood in it. No, I don't think I'm gonna... No, we're not gonna go there. But like, basically the only time that I've drawn a guy with, like, the snot beaten out of him, it was Jake. He's also, this horse. And this drawing of him isn't incomplete. Like, the other ones, you may notice the other ones have, cutie marks. I just think that Jake would be a genuinely, if he were a My Little Pony horse, he would be a blank flank for his entire life. I think that Jake would live a long, healthy life and die a blank flank. By the way. I don't know how much that, I don't know how much that tells you about a character, but I think it says a lot. If you think about the implications. Why did I come back to this? This is Jake English as a horse, and I think that he would be a blank flank. Taz was asking who Jake was because they haven't gotten to him yet. So he's talentless. It's not that he's talentless, it's that he doesn't have the, like... He's very adventurous, but he doesn't have, I think, necessarily the insight to have discovered what... Yeah, he's good at things, just not things that matter or would be useful. I don't think that he's discovered his true passion in life, and I don't think he ever will. That's my thoughts on Jake English. Classic Paige, exactly. The unrealized potential. There's something that in his life that he's missing, that he hasn't found. There's one missing piece, and if he could just find what he was passionate about, he could live a happy and successful life. Copium, copium, copium. This is what he tells himself every night. Is that if he just finds that one thing. I think he's the Cutie Mark Crusaders' most recurring customer. What was I drawing before? Where was I? Surely it was in the Homestuck. Oh, I'm done with that. I, like, finished it. Or, like, it's not finished, but I'm not gonna do more. Twilight would study him? Real. I have, like, undisputably an embarrassing amount of lore going in that My Little Pony AU, and I think we're not gonna get into that right now. I think that's a bit much. Where did I put my June Roxy art? Was it in this folder? Had I not moved it in? Oh, it's gonna be down there. Oh, okay, I'm gonna need to... Is that my favorite polycule at the top of the folder? If it was... Yeah, probably. Most likely. This one, I think, was Dave Sprite transitioned while on the Meteor. Okay, so be cool. Okay, what the actual fuck? Come on, man. Just like, instead of spending his time on the Meteor being depressed and then he just like leaves, Dave Sprite has a journey of self-exploration. And then it's Dove Sprite. What happened to Jade Sprite at Story? Dave, listen, I know how you feel. It's okay, man. The closet door is wide open. Okay, I don't remember if Taz has gotten to Jade Sprite yet. Or, like, Jade Sprite's the conclusion of Jade Sprite's arc. Okay, I'm gonna... I haven't properly folded off all of my Cal art yet, so it's just at the bottom here, and when I want to find it, when I want to find art that's lower down, I have to go through it. So... Ooh, I've been meaning to turn this into an actual comic. Started Jade Sprite. I don't think we've seen the end of the arc. I think you'd remember if you knew what happened to Jade Sprite. Okay, so... the idea with this comic is, Dirk is holding a drink, and he has a straw, and he doesn't know how he's gonna get the straw open with one hand. So he just, like, stabs it into his chest and gives Dave flashbacks. He's like, how am I gonna do this? Oh, I know. But I'd have to format that into actual... I don't have the panels planned out or anything. That song has way too big of a gap. I need to find a different version of Harleboss that doesn't have this huge thing at the end. I could draw just part of this one. Maybe. Alright, no, this feels too... I can't... So I can't remove the censoring on this one, because it has the character. But... we may just have to leave this here, as it is. We may just have to let this lie for now. I think that'll be the first thing I draw on stream when I get the opportunity. But as it stands, I have no idea when that day will come. Okay, I think June, her wife, and her wife's wife. Exactly. The good ending. Okay, I think that this format is gonna be down here. Where did my Bright Session stuff go? Here it is. I'm just gonna, like, steal this canvas, I think. Not that. Port photo. The honk. Okay. And then I just make that there. Does Gamzee count as a slasher? Yeah. I'd say so. Like a slasher villain? That's pretty much what Murderstuck is, right? I think he could live in Creepypasta Mansion or whatever. And then the panels were here. The Creepypasta WhatsApp group who invited Gamzee. Who let this guy in here? Oh man, I wonder if people have made Homestuck creepypastas. I bet they have. I bet they're terrible. I bet there's not a single good one and there's at least 3. Oh yeah, there's one on Wattpad. There's one on DeviantArt. You know it's bad when the first results are one on Wattpad and one on DeviantArt. And then one on Reddit. There's one on Quotev. Not So Different, Creepypasta and Homestuck Story. Another one on Wattpad. Thrilling. I forgot people even wrote fanfics on DeviantArt. I haven't been on there in years. Yeah, it's an AI cesspool now. Unfortunately. Yeah, I heard about the AI slop. It's too bad. One of my favorite MLP comics went on there. Yeah, it's a real bummer. Oh, hello, Mim. Welcome in. Wattpad is... I mean, it's just kind of what you use before you find out about AO3, right? That was my experience as a kid, is that I was using Wattpad because I didn't know that there was AO3 and that actual, like, people who knew how to write were over there writing good fanfiction. As opposed to, like, stuff made by people who were my age. Apparently a lot of MLP fan writers are still on Wattpad. Ooh. I haven't been part of the MLP fandom to the point where I would know, like, how good the stuff is over there. So that's really interesting. I didn't know that. I feel like I'm gonna give any of my viewers here who haven't gotten to this part of Homestuck or aren't reading it, very much the wrong impression on how much of a personality and how much plot relevance Brobot actually has as a character. Wattpad is blocked in my country? This is truly tragic. I mean, it's not a good website. They do also have, like, shady business practices, so with the, like, acquisition of people's, like, ownership of the books and stuff. I was at an MLP convention where one panel was about sharing their fanfics. A lot of people linked Wattpad, and I genuinely didn't know what the site was. Discord and Roblox too. Roblox, again, has shady as fuck business practices, though. I'm back-ish. I want to eat human flesh. Good news. We're just drawing robots now. Every online thing is shady at this point. True. They all want your fucking ID and shit. But no, I really think that given how much I draw Brobot, I'm gonna give people the wrong idea about him being a character when he's really not. He's just a design. And then I've given him like 3 different personalities and 3 different AUs. This is my Blorbo. My source is I made him the fuck up. Ooh, actually, I managed to get Brobot and Jake to start dating on my Tomodachi Island. I'm planning to have them move in together, and their house is going to be called Hell Murder Island. Yeah, no, that's exactly the same thing that I was thinking. With Roblox specifically, like, there should be legislation in place that they are in violation of by functioning the way that they do. I don't know why, but Jake's peak for me is the everyone talking part at the end. Ooh, like the part where they're, all doing the conversations. Yeah, I kind of, despise that specific interaction because of what it does with Vriska and Kavros. Yeah. No, yeah, the section where you're all on the little platform and it's going back and... yeah. I do appreciate that section for, like, bringing Jake Tab as a concept to my mind, though. But the way that conversation ends bums me out. Jake was so chill, I don't know. I need to draw too. Do it, 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 do it. Anyway. I'm gonna try drawing some Bloodborne today. Ooh. I actually don't know much about, like, the characters in Bloodborne or anything. I just know, like, nebulously that it's, like, a vampire thing. You know Lady Maria? I do not. Girl. Is it too much to ask for the bucket to just, like, fill the area that I'm trying to fill and not fill the entire canvas? Vampires and Lovecraftian? This makes sense. I need to finish Hellsing. I watched like the first 3 episodes or something. Like a ridiculously small amount. I didn't like... I mean, I liked it, but I guess I wasn't hooked or anything. Damn. Okay, we have hit 11. So, oh my gosh, Gengar. Hi. At least I could catch the tail end of the stream. Yeah, you came just as I was getting ready to close up. Oh, no, it looks like the ads are gonna fucking try running again. So, we may actually, you may get ads any second now, and we may hold off a second on ending stream. Just because I don't want people to miss it. I don't want people to get, like, randomly cut off. Yeah, they play at the top of the hour, so that's... Do I not have... Okay, there we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna hold off on actually like ending until I can like hold on. Let me pull back into the drawing. All right. All right. Alakazam is back. Okay. So that's gonna be it for tonight's stream. I have plans this Saturday. The event that I was planning to go to like a week or so back that ended up getting canceled last minute has been rescheduled, and it is this Saturday. So I'm gonna be doing a cosplay thing. I might take pictures of the cosplay and post them. Probably with the face like censored in some way. But yeah. So this week's weekend stream is going to be on Sunday. I do still want to do a game night this weekend. But it's going to be Sunday evening instead of Saturday. Same time period though. Yeah. So I'll see you guys at the next stream if you're free, which is going to be Sunday. What game? We are going to be doing, it's a Jackbox week. So we're going to be doing Jackbox games, or maybe if I can get a different drawing game up and running for people, possibly something like that. But yeah, I hope you guys all have a good night. I'll see you on the next stream if you're free. If not, just whenever you can stop by again. Yeah. Good night.